Honorable Vice Chancellor, JNU, Professor M. Jagdish Kumar, Professor Kandarpa Das, VC Krishna Kanta, University of Assam, Mr. Mikhail Popov, the key speaker in Russian, Professor Shandar Ahmed, and of course, Chairperson Professor Ranjana Banerjee and her colleagues, Dr. Kiran Singh Verma and Dr. Sonu Saini, and a host of guests and participants from different countries, apart from India, Russia, USA, Thailand, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Kyrgyzstan, Turkey, China, and other countries. Now, in the initial remark, Honorable Vice Chancellor already pointed out the need of the hour, and he has made it very clear that this is the age when we can think in terms of better use of information and communication technology. I would like to make a few points here. That all of you know that in the modern days of high-tech era, not only the quantitative concept of education has changed, but also its qualitative features are on the path of dynamic transformation. Transformation from classical frame to the modern track. And with the passage of time, it is getting all the more established. When I say established, I mean it, all the more established, that education is not more a unidimensional concept of learning. Rather, it is multidimensional, multifaceted, and as much complex as the human being itself. Allow me to say that as much as complex as the human being is. So it is multifaceted in the sense that it does not remain confined to the school boundaries. Often we talk about the higher education, but let us also begin with the initial education. It is not confined to the school boundaries only, but it crosses all the barriers to get straight to the home, to the street, and of course, to the totality of the environment in which one grows and passes his or her life. Now, it is the concept of totality. I'm talking about the totality, not the pick and choose. Rather, you see totality in the sense that in education particularly, that gets molded into the socio-cultural cavity so as to cast ultimate product in the form of a civilized human being. Our ultimate goal is to become a civilized human being. Now, a classroom demands confinement where the conceptual framework of totality bears a one-to-one correspondence with that of the totality involved in the meaning of education. The basic objective of education and knowledge within the ideological and structural framework of language and literature, particularly I do with the language and literature. So often I talk about the language and literature. So within the ideological and structural framework of language and literature, and let us try to evolve a society woven with the finer fabrics of humanity. And precisely the same becomes the venue and sphere of influence of modern days education. But talking about the online education, there are certain advantages, there are certain disadvantages. Now, while talking about the online teaching, there are certain aspects to be kept in mind. One very pertinent aspect is preparation and supply of teaching material. Now, in this case, now teacher has to work more than the normal capacity because A teacher has to supply the entire material in one go, in single instance. And that's how you see the entire syllabus is to be covered. And second important aspect is evaluation. Now, when you seek responses from the students, some online classes require students to turn in their assignments periodically throughout the semester. Now, this entire throughout the semester, though in JNU we have this system, this is continuous evaluation. But online evaluation, one has to think how to do it. And the third aspect is continuous interaction with teachers. Now, there are students. The classroom teaching is such where we can have, you see, a continuous interaction. But online teaching, there are certain handicaps, you see, which we have to look into. Then a teacher reads the body language. Now, where is the variation of body language when there is no direct interaction with the student? And that has to be evolved. Then similar is the facilitating class discussions. Now, I don't know to what extent we can have class discussion through online teaching. It is of course possible. It is not that you see it is remote. Rather, you see it is possible. It can be made possible. Then the self-assessment of a teacher. Now, a teacher has to assess to what extent he has disseminated knowledge to his students. Now, these are aspects to be kept in mind and design the entire coursework on the basis of these technological crunches in order to have a better distance education, technology, e-learning designs, and the policies. I think I'm not the person to highlight and to discuss all these aspects. Rather, Professor Shandar Ahmed is sitting here. He would be able to throw more light on these aspects. But I wish all the best to a successful endeavor by the Center for Russian Studies of the School of Language, Literature and Culture Studies to a larger participation and larger discussion on the subject and a successful webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Hassan. He's the Dean of our School of Languages. Well, sir, we like your spirit in learning and sharing the knowledge. That is what basically spirit is required. And we agree with you, sir. Thank you very much for the wonderful